Get your man the Flute to play song, the fuck.
Diego, which everybody, Kachimura Shiv, and welcome back to episode number 132 of the Inline G Flute podcast with me, your host, motherfucking Inline G. Happy 2026, you gorgeous lot. Fuck, I've missed yous. It's good to be back. It's lovely to be back, in fact. Now listen, straight off the bat, because regular listeners, I know what you're going to be thinking. Episode 132 should be fucking 133. Fucking straight out of this, 2 weeks, where you been? Fuck's sake. I know. The elephant in the room. For the first time in Inline G history, I missed an episode. I missed a week. I'm sorry. There was no episode last Friday. Now, simple reason for that, lads. For the last 4 weeks, I have been to Ireland for 2 weeks for Christmas and then off to Georgia. Georgia good, not Georgia bad. Georgia, the one out beside Azerbaijan and Armenia, not the shit one in America. Fuck America, by the way. Man, absolutely fuck America. I'm not even pretending that I'm going to be going to NFA this year. Nobody should be going to that country at the minute. This is a full boycott this year. Fuck that place. But anyway, I went to Georgia and I had planned to do a couple of episodes while I was there with some amazing musicians because Georgia has, oh lads, I'm going to be banging on about this country for a very fucking long time. There is some amazing music out there for a country of just over 3 million people. The fact they've produced arguably the world's best violin player, one of the world's best piano players, one of the best sopranos in the world, or mezzo-sopranos, it's ridiculous. An amazing musical culture that I would love to delve into. So I thought, I'm going to interview some people there. I had one lined up from a director from one of the very prestigious schools in Tbilisi, but it fell through at the last minute. And to be honest, lads, I was having the time of my life when I was over in Georgia. It was fucking great. As a part of a 4-week holiday of no work and seeing family and seeing my girlfriend's family and meeting everybody, it was just amazing. I cannot rant and rave about it enough. And I started to feel really guilty because I was like, fuck, I haven't got a podcast episode for this week. I haven't got the time to write one. I can't make a solo episode. I haven't got the space to do it. I felt awful because I'm so proud of the fact that in Inline G, we have went 132 weeks and 132 episodes. I was so fucking proud of that. It became a thing that I really, really looked at and I really searched for and craved for. It was a badge of honor almost to say every fucking week, like the fucking postman, I deliver. But do you know what? That is entirely 100% self-assigned pressure. There's no external pressure from that whatsoever. You guys don't pressure me. Nobody pressures me to do this. It's all on Big G here. I do it. And artists do this a lot. I thought about this so fucking much on my holiday. Artists do this a lot where they set their own goals, and it does feel healthy at first to set your own goals and targets, be they grand, be they small, no matter what they are. But it stops being healthy at a certain point because it's so linked to your self-worth. The goals we set ourselves as artists, it's so linked to your self-worth and your sense of identity. So if you don't achieve it, I'm a dickhead. I feel like shit. I didn't manage it. I set my own target. Can't even do my own fucking targets, never mind anyone else's. And we do this on a micro level. Like we do this in one practice session. You could say, oh, today I'm going to practice all 4 pieces that I have to. You only practice 3. And you go, fuck, I'm a dickhead. I didn't bother practicing. We do this all the time. And the thing we have to remember is art has like no finish line. You don't arrive anywhere. It's like that fucking thing that people get tattooed. Happiness is the journey, not the destination. All that, but it is true. Like art doesn't go somewhere. We really have to understand this. We set these goals because they give us this sense of self-control, but it's never really there. It is an illusion. It's artificial certainty. We don't have that self-control, and with the really emotional nature of art, the goals that we set ourselves become really fucking heavy emotionally, way more emotionally heavy than we intended them to be. And it's fucking ridiculous then. It spirals out of control. Because if you have external goals or external pressure, like, you know, your job or a contract or a deadline or shit like that, you have something to push back against. You can push at that. You can call your teacher a dickhead. You can tell people to go fuck themselves. They did it, not you. So it's easy to push back on. But when it's self-imposed, it feels like you're failing yourself. You can't call yourself a dickhead for setting that target. We all know that's not a healthy thing to start doing, is to criticizing yourself. That's the last thing we need to do as artists, because everyone else criticizes us. Fuck's sake, give yourself a break. But we, as an artist, and especially as musicians, to be honest, a lot of people will find this, even not as an artist. I know as an artist, but it is. I make art for a living. And a lot of you guys as well. So But people do this in all kinds of forms of life. You might find you have a corporate job, but you're putting certain pressures on yourself in your dating life or your fitness goals or your health or your hobbies, or there's all kinds of things. But we constantly, as artists, internalize our own judgments, and it's like survival. We do that to survive. We have to survive. So to do that, we have to constantly judge ourselves. We have to self-evaluate ourselves all the time. And it just adds to all this fucking pressure. It's ridiculous. And you know what the worst bit is about setting all these stupid targets and goals ourselves is sticking to them strictly and getting overwhelmed by them kills creativity and playfulness, especially stone dead. Stone fucking dead. You cannot have any crack when you're under pressure like that. And it's self-imposed pressure. And then killing the creativity, killing the playfulness, it kills the art. You cannot create art in that kind of area. And we all fucking know this. I fucking know this. Man, I know if I were to shit out an episode when I'm out there on my holidays having a great time, some of the best 4 weeks of my life I had, if I was out there shitting out some fucking episode that I wasn't proud of, but I did it just to make sure I got 132 episodes in 132 weeks, it'd be no good for anybody. You guys wouldn't want that episode. I wouldn't want to make the fucking episode. But the pressure of my own goal really got to me. It really fucking got to me. And there was a moment where I had to go, do you know what, Garth? This is self-inflicted. This is entirely your own fault. It's like that fucking thing where you see people on TikTok complaining all the time about like their boyfriends or their girlfriends and this and that. And the top comment is always that picture of the wee bird in a cage, but there's only 2 bars. And the bird's holding on to the 2 bars and the whole cage is open behind. That's it. You put yourself in a prison. You don't need to do this. You fucking don't. It's the same with shitty partners. You don't need to be in the relationship. You entirely choose it. Just fuck off. Okay. Not quite as simple as that in relationships, I know. But with self-assigned goals, I'm the only one that's pissing myself off for this. Nobody else. I'm not a victim. I'm a dickhead. And there's a big difference. And if you just reframe the thinking of this, you wise the fuck up. Just give yourself a head a wobble and it's fine. You can outgrow your goals. That's totally fine. And honestly, forget about outgrowing them. You can take your goals and your targets and stick them in the fucking bin. Who cares? It's your goals, your targets. Nobody's going to get on your back about it. As long as you do it from a reflective place, not an emotive one, it's perfect. It's a good thing to do, to constantly reevaluate. Sometimes achieving a goal just for the sake of achieving the goal is fucking useless. It is blind ignorance sometimes. So we keep marching on. Anyway, sorry lads. 7 minutes I've been talking already. I haven't even got to the fucking podcast yet. So anyway, I was in Georgia and there will be episodes on Georgia because, lads, that is a country that has stolen my heart. The people there, the food, the wine. Rocking up with 10 bottles of fucking wine in my suitcase. Had to pay for 10 kilos extra at the airport to get it back. Don't give a fuck. Best wine in the world. And I lived in France. So I'm telling you, best fucking wine in the world. And there was one day in Tbilisi where my girlfriend went to get her hair cut. And I thought, well, I'm not going to be joining in because, as you may or may not know, from the eyebrows down, I am very hairy, but above the eyebrows, fuck all going on. So I thought, I'm not going to the hairdressers just to embarrass myself, make a fucking fool of myself, stand in the corner. And they're like, oh, what does he want? Getting a perm, is it? Fuck's it. Nah, didn't want any of that, right? Didn't want that. So I went on to Google. It's like day 10 of the holiday. Nearly finished. And I put in Irish pub. As I do. As you would. And I found a wee Irish pub called Billy Burke's in Tbilisi. And I thought, fuck it, I'll pop down there and I'll have a wee pint to myself while I wait. Haven't done it all trip. Go down and have a wee pint. 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a fucking Thursday in January. Lovely. By the way, shite pub. No Guinness. Walked in. Excuse me, mate. How's it going? English? Yep. Can I get a pint of Guinness? No. What? No Guinness. All right, fuck. Tell you this one even better. Jesus Christ. I was home in Belfast over this Christmas. I'm going to name them. I'm going to name them and shame them because it used to be one of my favourite pubs in the city. The John Hewitt Bar. I went in there one day, the week after, like 27th of December, so just after Boxing Day and Christmas Day. Went into the fucking pub and it's now all hipster and it's got, you know, the beers on the wall when you choose it and it's all like local beers and fucking IPAs and all that wank, man. But anyway, they did have Guinness on the wall because I said to my mate, I was like, do you reckon they have Guinness? And he went, it's actually on the list, don't worry. So I went up to the man, I went, hey mate, how's it going? I'll have a pint. Can I get a pint of Guinness? I said, can I get a pint of Guinness? And he went, nope. Now, bear in mind, this is, if you said ChatGPT, draw me a picture of a hipster bar owner, this is what you got. Looked a bit like me, to be totally honest. Fucking mustache and all that here. He went, nope. I thought he was doing a bit, and I was like, dead on, mate, and I have a Guinness. Man, no, we're all out of Guinness. And I was like, oh, fuck, okay. Can I get a pint of your stout then, your home stout? And he went, nope, sold out of that. Oh, fuck, no stout at all. I was looking forward to a stout. Fuck it. I'll get a lager. I'll just get a beer. No lager. What? No lager. So loud. Like, oh, okay. Can I get a pint of cider? No cider. Sorry. So I was like, mate, the fucking hell. All right. You got anything in this fucking place? What the fuck? The only thing they had left was their fucking grapefruit pissy IPA, man. Fuck IPAs. Absolutely fuck them. Fuck IPAs. Up the IRA. Down with IPAs. Don't try to be fancy about beer. Guinness and Hart. That's all you fucking need. Anyway, I went to this Irish bar in Tbilisi, right? And I'm sitting there and I got my pint of fucking Kronbacher. German beer. Heartbroken. Anyway, I sat down. Plastic Paddy pub. Totally fake. Broke my heart. But anyway, I was alone in the bar and on the TV they had the highlights of the 1998 FA Cup. Now that's football, soccer for you wanks across the pond, but we're going to call it football because that's what it fucking is. And you can't get on your high horses now, all right? No more high horses in America. You're shooting people in the fucking face again. So get down, all right? Football, your sport's wank, okay? So they're showing the highlights of it. I'm a very angry man today. I'm a very angry man. I'm sorry. I'm in a great mood as well. I've had a great few weeks, but fuck, I got carried away. Oh. So I sit down in the pub and they're showing on the TV 1998 FA Cup. Highlights of Peter Schmeichel, especially the goalkeeper for Manchester United at the time. And it's fucking lovely. And I'm just realising I'm sitting here watching the football that I would have watched when I was 6 or 7, the players I grew up watching. I'm in an Irish pub, a shite one albeit, but still, it just had this lovely, homey, chilled vibe. And I sat there going, this is class. This is fucking great. I've got a pint, I've got the football from the 90s on, and I'm sitting in an Irish pub. There's few things better in the world about that. It felt homey. Now, bear with me here, lads, by the way. I am going to get the music. I'm going to get to the podcast at some point. But you have to let me. Lads, we haven't seen each other in ages, okay? I haven't been in front of a microphone for 4 weeks. Give me a wee second. So, I'm sitting there, and it's hitting all those lovely nostalgia buttons that I love being pressed. So, I thought, do you know what? I'm flying tomorrow. I need to get something to watch on the plane. 5-hour flight back from Tbilisi. I'm going to download the Premier League Years. Now, anyone who knows about football will tell you this is a great show. Premier League Years came out every single year, and it was a 2-hour special where we went month to month of matches in the English Premier League, and then they also had the big news stories from each month, and then at the end they showed you. So I thought, fuck it. I'm going to get the 2005 Premier League Years. The year Chelsea won the league, I'm going to download that for the flight. And I'll download 2006 as well, where Chelsea won it again. Be fucking great. It put me right in that space for nostalgia. And I thought, we're flying late at night as well. Everyone's going to be asleep in the plane. I'm terrified of flying. I'm going to bring a bottle of Georgian wine with me, which is fucking delicious. I'm going to suck on that and watch videos of Didier Drogba. Premier League Years 2005, fucking heaven. Everyone's going to be asleep. Alan Shearer's going to be scoring headers and I'm going to be having a great time. And tell you what, lads, I did. Had a wonderful time. But it was this whole nostalgia thing that started coming back into my thinking. Because nostalgia is a fucking wild thing. And it gets wilder when you mix it in with alcohol, with the booze. Because, like, how many times have you sat and seen a wee girl crying in a pub about some boyfriend she had when she was fucking 16, saying he was the best in the world, even though he was a fucking prick? It's nostalgia. Excuse me, it's nostalgia. It's rose-tinted glasses, as we call them. And nostalgia is very fucking strong and it can blind us entirely. But it's fucking lovely. It's lovely and warm and it makes you feel good. And I often ask myself, and especially did on this flight, a very, very introspective flight for a man drinking an entire bottle of wine. I ask myself, why is nostalgia so strong? What does it do? Because when you ask someone that, the automatic answer is, oh, it transports us to a simpler time. You know, it puts us back to that time. So if I'm watching Chelsea win the league in 2005, I remember being 13 when Chelsea last won the league. And I had no bills, and I had no job, and I had no money stress, or nothing to panic about. I was 13 years old. All I did was football and wanking 24/7. So you think, oh, great. It's easy for me to say I'm transported back to a wonderful, simpler time when I had nothing to worry about. But I'm calling bullshit in this, lads. This is dog shit. It's not true, okay? Because I know I'm not 13, first of all. When I'm watching it and I'm sitting on the plane, I know I'm not 13, so it doesn't put me back, all right? And when I was 13, I didn't appreciate being 13. I was stressed out as fuck. I was a very anxious child. Looking back at it, I think it's great, but I didn't have that. So I'm not returning to that age, because if I returned to that age, I'd be sitting there anxious as fuck again. Thinking about week. My biggest anxiety when I was 13, the girl beside me in Spanish thought I smelled like crisps. I was buying every fucking deodorant you could imagine because she said I smelled like ready salted crisps. Not even fucking salt and vinegar. Not even seasoned onion. Ready salted. Which just smells like salt and potatoes. So apparently that's what I was doing when I was 13. Panicking Absolute terror over smelling like crisps. I don't want to go back to that age, man. It would do fuck all for me. I was miserable. So it's not that. Nostalgia is something way, way more powerful than that. It's a perfect example of what art is, or what real art is, not fucking AI shite. It's what real art is. Also, don't get me started on fucking AI. I don't know if I told you the story about the AI thing, but I was writing a present. I was writing the tag on a Christmas present in Spanish for someone, and I was running off my high school Spanish. And I was like, oh yeah, it's para Blever de Gareth. And then my girlfriend's like, I don't know if that's right. I'm going to ask ChatGPT. And ChatGPT said, nope, it's not that. You're wrong. Do this instead. And I'm like, I don't fucking know. So I messaged Juan. You all remember Juan from episode 11 of this podcast. Juan Casillo. I said, Juan, I'm writing a present. Did I write para so-and-so de Gareth? He went, yes. And I went, well. And I showed my girlfriend. I was like, well, there. You can stick your ChatGPT up your hole, because Juan, I think, speaks better Spanish than fucking ChatGPT. Juan knows his stuff. And she was like, oh, I'm not sure. And I was like, you're not fucking sure. You're not fucking sure. Fuck ChatGPT, man. Fuck AI. It's dog shit. Don't use AI. Use your local Spanish musician. Easy. But anyway, nostalgia. It shows what art really is, because it gives us meaning without risk. Okay? Now, bear with me on this. I've been thinking about this a lot, lads. Fucking me carried away. What risk? And you're all sitting there thinking, what the fuck is he on about now? What the fuck? I've waited 2 weeks and this is what fucking episode I'm getting. Nostalgia is all about the past. We know this, okay? But the future, if we look at it, the future is unknown. And it's uncertain. Will Chelsea ever win the league again? We'll never know. Spoiler alert, no, the fucking won't. That one we are sure on. The way we're playing now, we're fucking dog shit. But anyway, future's uncertain. The present is unstable. It's hard to control. We don't really know what's going on. But the past, that's a book that's written. We know how that ends. We've read that one. And our brains have this amazing way to reframe the past, to firstly create a narrative and create a story that we can tell ourselves so it's easier for us to digest. And secondly, to learn from it and protect ourselves. This is also why certain memories get repressed. Trauma response. Our brains are very good at how it frames the past to make sure we remember it in certain ways. But so generally, when it comes to thinking about the past or major events, we remember the outcome most. So whatever happened at the end is what sticks out in your brain. The end of the story, essentially. Was it a happy end or was it not? If you practiced for an audition for 6 months and you did the audition, the immediate thing, if you think about that audition, your immediate thought will probably be, oh, fucking happy days, I got the audition. Or I didn't get the audition, and this is why. Okay? You'll go straight to that. You don't automatically think of the entire process and the emotions you went through during that process, the varied emotions and the varied stages of it. These are less significant, certainly, in your memory. You'd have to go fishing for these feelings and these emotions. Also, another reason why art is class, if you created some kind of art or even consumed some kind of art in that period, listening to that again or reviewing that or consuming it again will put you back to how you felt. So if you were balls deep in the middle of an audition preparation or a concert preparation and you were depressed as fuck and you spent a week listening to Avril Lavigne, you go listen to that one Avril Lavigne song, you'll be back to that period, but you kind of forgot what it felt like. That's what art's great at. But this is where nostalgia comes in. So nostalgia is like it's a sentimental, emotional longing for the past or a certain period of the past, essentially. So it's not how the past was, it's the past once it's made sense. Once your brains put it in. Fuck, by the way, wasn't that poetic? That's great. I'm on fire. Fuck, you are lucky to get this podcast. It's not how the past was. It's the past once it made sense. It survived. Okay? The past, it survived. It doesn't judge you. It doesn't surprise you. It can't surprise you. The past. It can't judge you. It can't do anything. These are all emotions that you've already processed, and they're comforting for that reason. It's like when your mum cooks spaghetti bolognese. It might not be the best spaghetti bolognese in the world, but the familiarity of eating it is pure comfort. And it also, nostalgia helps to restore like a little bit of your identity. I feel like it gives you that sense of identity because you've probably evaluated your past, and nostalgia can bring you back to that person. And that person is a person that makes sense. You've evaluated your actions and how you behaved. When we talk about ourselves in the past, we do talk about it as if it's another person. But we don't do that with the future. And we don't do that with the present. But the past, like, the old me would have fucking done that. And unlike the current you, Because you're still working that out. The current you don't know. The current you could be fucking starting half marathons or picking up pottery to find out if you're that kind of person. The past you can label them and say things. You can say what they are. Even if that label is lost. You might say, well, that Gareth was lost. He was fucked. He was screwed up. There's a certainty to it, which there isn't with the present and the future. And nostalgia also removes choice. Now, what I mean by that is, if I'm watching the football again, and I'm watching, when I see Frank Lampard score those 2 goals away to Bolton Wanderers at the end of the 2005 season to win Chelsea the league, I know I'm going to enjoy Frank Lampard scoring those 2 goals. I enjoyed it when I was 13. I've enjoyed it 2,000 times since. I know what the crack is. I'm going to keep enjoying it. And it's why when we consume the same media constantly, it's very comforting. For example, I barely listen to new recordings of classical music or new flute albums. I do it for this podcast. Apart from that, I don't. And sometimes I do sit and go, fuck, have I lost the love for classical music? I don't want to listen to new music. I can't be fucked. And I think there's something wrong with me. Then I reflect and I reframe it and I think, no, it's because I don't have the emotional capacity right now to invest in that. Because when I listen to something new, a new fresh recording of Beethoven 9s, for example, I have to evaluate it. I have to consider it. I have to look at how I feel. I have to really listen to it, especially when it's complex art like classical music. It's different with like pop. A pop song, a modern pop song, 30 seconds I can tell you if I like it or not. There's not much of an emotional or intellectual investment in me to find that out. Even at worst, if I want to listen to like the new Taylor Swift album, which by the way is dog shit, it's 45 minutes of my life or an hour of my life and I can make my mind up straight away. A classical recording of Beethoven's 9th will take me a long time to figure out how I feel about it. And I have to invest a lot of emotional effort. I have to use all my skills as a musician to be able to analyze it because that's what it is. Now, don't get me wrong, doing that, the payoff is huge. And that's why classical music is so rewarding. Once you do really love it, the complexity, the depth of the emotions, it's uncomparable. It's the best thing in the world. But I don't have the emotional capacity for it right now. I just don't. And it's not a lack of love. What I need right now is nostalgia. I need that. I need that fucking comfort. I don't have to try and evaluate or think about it or decide if I like it or not. It's already been done. I just go in, skip all that, go straight. Sorry, excuse me. Just go straight to the emotion. Forget the evaluation period. Just jump straight into the emotion. And old favorites remove all that. That's exactly the point. You've decided what you think. It's lovely. You've made the investment, and now you get this repeated payoff of understanding and enjoyment. Repeatedly. It feels inevitable, and inevitability is so fucking soothing to a human brain. Inevitability is great. It takes out so much guesswork. Uncertainty, humans don't deal well with uncertainty and randomness. None of that happens with nostalgia. It just hits all your fucking buttons. When I watch the Premier League years, I don't have to analyse what's going on. I see a certain jersey. I'll see that Chelsea jersey with Flying Emirates on and the old badge and the Umbro. Or I'll see a certain player like fucking Thiago in the midfield, or Claude Magalele, or Ricardo Carvalho, or I'll be watching Diego Forlan for United, or fucking Patrick Vieira, or young Antonio Reyes over at Arsenal. Having a great time. Fucking JJ Okocha, man. JJ Okocha came on the screen when I was on the flight. I nearly screamed. I was like, fuck, look, he's back. He's back. Got me more excited than the end of Stranger Things. It was fucking class. And I see that. And it just skips all the things I have to think about with these players to evaluate it. And no, it just goes straight to emotion. I've done all that in the past. And it just goes bang, straight to the thing. Okay, let me get off football for a second because I realize it's not a football podcast. Let me get off this for a second. If I listen to my favorite classical recordings, there's certain moments that just straight back to the emotion. They just crack straight through the same way every fucking time. It's reliable and it's great. For example, one of my favorite recordings and one I've listened to probably the most is all of Maggie Mounier's flute albums, every fucking one of them. But my favorite one is not her album, but it's Xavier Demest, who's a French harpist, and he does the flute and the harp concerto on his album with Maggie. And there's a moment in the third movement where there's this big key change. Oh, fuck, how's it go? Fuck, I can't remember. Anyway, there's a big key change moment. I think it's in the recapitulation, where it goes back to that, and suddenly it changes to a new key. I think it moves up to D major. And it's like the sun just bursts out. Every time I hear that, the way they phrased it, and I did that investment when I first listened to it every single day for fucking months. It took me a while to realize that was my favorite moment because I could listen and go, oh yeah. One day I go, oh, I like that. The next day I go, oh, I like the bit before that. And then after I'm going, oh, I love the way they're building me towards this and they've played with the dynamics to bring it down. I love the way she's played that first note with vibrato. It gets contextualized and it gets elaborated. I did all that work for months, not deliberately, but I was subconsciously doing it and analysing it. Now when I hear it, it just goes bang, straight in, class. Just goes straight to my brain and go, that's fucking great. I don't have to do all that anymore. So it's great to go back to that recording, or I go back to listening to the fucking Prokofiev sonata and I hear that first note when in Jimmy Galway and Martha Argerouch's recording of the Prokofiev, again, one of my favourite albums. You hear that and the fucking vibrato, man, that Jimmy puts on. And the minute I hear that, I'm like, I've analysed this 100 times. I've listened to it 1,000,000 times. And now I just get to enjoy the fact that that is the sexiest vibrato I've ever heard in my life. Or the Bayou Flute album, they're all flute albums, dickhead. The Bayou Opera album, Night at the Opera. It's an older one. It's like, it must be like 2007 or something. With, I think it's Rotterdam Philharmonic. There's a duo for 2 flutes on the Rigoletto Fantasy. Or is it Traviata or Rigoletto? Anyway, there's a wee minute in it where it all dies away to nothing. And you have the da-dum-bum-bum-bee, da-dum, da-dum-bum-bum-bee. That little melody comes up and it's just the flutes. And you got the second flute going, and the first one plays a minute. Every time that happens, I've listened to that so many times to hear what I love about it is the balance between the 2 flutes, Bayou's very gentle use of vibrato, and how the orchestra stops so dead before that, and the silence, which you can hear in the recording. You hear they've done a run through recording, they haven't chopped it up, because you can hear the silence and the breath. I've analysed that so many times now that now I don't have to do that. I just hear it and I instantly go, fucking class, and I know why it's class, and it's instantly satisfying. It's great. I love that. It's also why we, how do I think about this? It takes zero effort to maintain that. Because when you go back to the past, I don't have to do that ever again. It's all just there. I don't have to make any effort. It's just, you visit the past. You just pop in and say hello, and it's always there. You've been there 1,000,000 times. And we don't judge ourselves either, which I think is really fucking interesting. We don't judge ourselves for our past tastes in music. When people talk about their guilty pleasures in music, they're far more comfortable talking about it when they frame it as, this is what I listened to when I was 16, or when I was 17, or 10 years ago, or when I was going through a bad period. That's much easier to digest than saying, no, I like it now, and I picked it up now, and I don't believe in guilty pleasures at all. But we accept our choices because they're in the past, because they don't feel like ours. They feel like someone else made them. So we're not self-evaluating, we're not judging ourselves. So again, it's so easy. That was the old me. I was only a kid, blah, blah, blah. No self-criticism in our choices. It wasn't us. It was someone else nearly. And by the way, there shouldn't be a taste. There shouldn't be a taste. There shouldn't be judgment for your taste in art. That's fucking dog shit. You can like what you like, okay? Some of you just have terrible taste. I know you're listening to this fucking podcast, but you shouldn't be judged for it. Do whatever you want. But there is a bit of judgment when it comes to classical music. For example, if Bayou brings out a new album, or the Berlin Philharmonic bring out a brand new record, or I'm not going to say an American orchestra, the LSO re-record the Bruckner symphonies with fucking Simon Rattle conducting. You don't want to be the dickhead that pops along and says, I think it's shit. Because you know, if you're a classical music fan, you know that it's meant to be good. You know the quality of it is good. Or you know, if you don't, you know you're going to have to look for it because it's the best performers in the world. It's the best music. It's a real pedigree of what's going on. So you don't want to be that dickhead to go, I don't like it, until you're sure. Until you're sure you don't like it. Because it's so edgy, you just go, oh, his new album's shite. You can't say Emmanuel Bayou album is shite. You know you can't. So you have to go and invest this time. Even though you know it's a valid thing to say that and just go fucking, there's always that thing of you self-reflect a little bit and go, am I the idiot for not getting this? Everyone else is loving it. Am I the dickhead here? But past recordings don't do that. When you go to your past recordings, they just fucking hit. It's just lovely. And you don't judge yourself for your past choices because they're completed. But on this flight, this is the point, when I downloaded Premier League Ears, on this flight, I was choosing to analyse the past. And to be honest, lads, 29 minutes we've been talking, this might have to be a new episode. I'm sorry. I think I'm going to have to split this episode into 2, which I've never really done before, but my notes for this episode haven't really started yet. I've got 2 lines on my screen here. They're all about to start now. I've written so basically what I wanted to talk about was how football has changed so much in the last few years. And one of the ways it's changed, we have nostalgia for the way the game was played back then because it was a lot more gung-ho, maybe, a lot more emotive, a lot less organised. And one of the words that we hear so frequently in modern assessments of football and punditry is tempo. That's a word that was never used 20 years ago in the game. Not really. Nowadays, it's everywhere. We're talking about dictating the tempo of play. So I wanted to talk about that, and then I was going to, I had this whole historic background on where the word tempo came from and how to use tempos and the history of metronomes, and especially how Beethoven interpreted different tempos. Tempi. In fact, I was actually going to talk about why the fuck do we all say tempi instead of those fucking Italian Americans. You know those Italian Americans on TikTok? They're like, gabagool. And pizza to New York or pizza to Napoli. Like, mate, fuck off. You're from fucking New York. You're not Italian. Fuck off. Your family came here 6 generations ago. And if they were now, I would shoot them in the fucking head. But anyway, it was a great episode. And I'm going to do it next week. I'm sorry, lads. I haven't got the time for it this week. And yeah, I don't even know if I've talked about music at all in this fucking episode. I hope he's got something out of it. Also, I haven't done a Patreon read. I'm out of the swing in the podcast, and so I'm going to do the Patreon read now. Oh, that's a reminder to do my laundry. I'm going to do the Patreon read right now, okay? So listen, if you're a regular listener, you can fuck off. There's nothing left of the episode, okay? There's no more content. But if you're new around here, or you haven't heard this before, just stick around for the last minute, okay? The Inline G podcast is free, and it'll always be fucking free. That is a guarantee. If you wish to donate to the podcast, you can now do so through the Patreon. On the screen now is the address, and for the audio listeners, it's patreon.com/the Inline G Flute podcast. You can find the description in the bio. Not my bio, in the description. You can find the link in the description. Jesus, I am out of fucking sync here. Listen, I do everything around here on my own, this podcast. The Patreon costs €5 a month, whatever that is in your currency. Now, I will say, first of all, you can sign up for 1 month and then just unsubscribe straight away. So it doesn't come out every month. It's just like a one-off payment then. But listen, I do this entire podcast on my own. Video production, audio production, graphic design, script writing, every fucking aspect of this is done by me. It is the definition of a small, independent podcast. I love it. I love doing this podcast. It has been one of the greatest creative processes of my life. I adore it, every second of it. But it takes up a lot of fucking time, and it is so rewarding to be paid for my work as an artist. Now, you get 4 episodes a month. This month you got 3. I will make up for it, I promise, but 133 weeks, you got 132 episodes, okay? Episode every fucking Friday, and from now there definitely will be. Every Friday there's an episode. Come rain nor shine. €5 a month, that's fucking €1.25 an episode, okay? It's 4 hours of entertainment, minimum, a month, and a backlog of episodes. If you listen to a lot of episodes, you think, fuck, that was great. Even one episode, you think, that was great. If I saw Gareth in the pub tonight, I'd buy him a pint to say thank you for making that. You can go do it. That's essentially what it is. You're paying to support me as an artist. It feels amazing to have my work supported and paid for. Also, no sponsors in Inline G. They can go fuck themselves. Every time I get a sponsor on, they're like, you can't talk about this, you can't swear, you can't make comments about American politics. Go fuck yourselves. This is the world's biggest food podcast, and we are 100% listener funded. So if you can afford to sign up, please go over there and do it, even just as a one-off payment. Thank you very, very, very much. It keeps the podcast alive, lads. If you're already signed up, fucking God bless you. You really are doing the Lord's work. If you can't afford it, that's fine. You will get the same podcast as everyone else. It is a system based on soundness and kindness. Someone else is paying so that you don't have to. Lads, I'm sorry. It was a strange episode this week, but I hope you got something out of it. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm sorry for missing the episode. I will make it up to you, I promise. Have a lovely week. A lovely time in January. Try not to get too depressed on Blue Monday. And I will see you all soon. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Get your man the flute to play song, the fuck.